Good morning, class. Welcome to your virtual course. My name is Dr. Araipur, and you can call me Dr. A, whatever is easier for you. I have been sending you several emails/announcements in the past couple of weeks. I hope you've had a chance to explore your course. Some students have already started it. And for those who haven't, we are going to go over the synopsis of what needs to be done. So when you go to the Canvas, when you log in, you go to home page of Canvas. I put numbers, so basically you follow the numbers. Here, number one, there was this simple and short 2-minute video welcoming you to the course. I'm happy to have you here. Number two is the class philosophy, and let me actually do this. And so the class philosophy is let me see if we can make it read for us. If not, I guess not. So that's number two, class philosophy. Number three, there are announcements that have been sent to you. So let's put this in student mode. Here's the announcements you all have been receiving. I hope you realize as an online student, it's important that you read your emails every day. So several emails / announcements have been sent. Welcome to your virtual course, recorded orientation, and orientation exemption, welcome and orientation. Welcome to your virtual course, and this was sent like 3 times. Okay? So that's the announcements, and there will be more as we go through the course. In case for any reason you missed that, you can check it under the announcements. Number 4, follow the steps below. Syllabus, modules, homework, practice test, exams. And again, just reminding you, what you see here is the office hours, which is every day, Monday through Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8:20 to 9 a.m. But this is not the Zoom meeting that we have currently. What we have currently is the class, which can be found under the Zoom on the left navigation bar, this one. So we don't want to confuse the two, okay? So under the Zoom here, you join the class. This one would be for the office hours. All right, so starting with the syllabus, if you click on the syllabus, it will take you here. And nowadays we have the syllabus and a simple syllabus. And I'm going to actually quickly go over both of them. So uh, let me go over my own syllabus, which has all the details. There are two things that you see here. One of them is the syllabus and one of them is the Excel calendar. I wanted to separate the two. And although you have the calendar here also, but this is a little bit more detailed. And I'm going to click on the calendar to remind you what you need to do. Basically, we have an exam every week. All exams are set up for Saturdays, okay, including the final exam. This is the first day of the class. And by tomorrow, the mandatory assignment to my open math is due, and the next day, algebra review. And I'm going to ask you to do it today. We'll discuss that when we are done with the recording. So that is the Excel calendar, and this is the syllabus. I'm going to go over it quickly, first starting with a welcoming message for everybody. Then, because the syllabi nowadays are way too long, I have put them in the following manner that you see the topic, and in case you want to come back to this, you can go to a topic of interest. You can click on that and it will take you there. Okay. So for example, if I click on this one, brings you to PyShop. So I'm going to go back to the top and I'm going to go over everything fairly quickly. Just make sure you come back if you have any questions. So of course, the name of the course, the section number, the timing, we start from here. Student learning outcome, course objective, the text. You don't have to pay for anything. The text is free, offered by OpenStax. I'll show you when we go to My Open Math, which I'm going to refer to as MOM from now on. And your homework is done in a platform known as My Open Math, or MOM for short. And everything is free, as I mentioned. I believe education should be free for everybody. So again, mentioning the times, the summer course, the section number, all class meetings. And as you can see here, it mentions to log into class, log into Canvas, click on the Zoom on the navigation bar on the left side. It mentions it here, or you can just follow here and click on this Zoom meeting, just in case. And needless to say, it's important to put your full name anytime you show up to the class. Write your full name as it appears on the class roster. We have the schedule of exams here. Basically, everything set up for Saturdays, and the very first one happens in a few days. It's a very fast-paced course. It's a 5-week course class, okay? We have 5 exams, 4 midterm exams, if you want to call them, and 1 final comprehensive exam that covers everything from A to C. I'll go over that more when the time comes. I believe everybody is here to learn, which means there will be no proctoring. It is important when you take the exam, there is a pledge that mentions that you're taking the exam on your own without any help from any source, whether it's the PowerPoints that we have or notes or lectures or anything else, or any YouTube videos. I'm going to assume we are going to follow them. Now, recorded practice tests are already posted from the past. The new ones will be posted as we go through them. And when you want to take the exam, exams expire at 11:59. Normally you have 2 hours. When you receive an email/announcement regarding the exam, it tells you how much time you have. So if you have 2 hours and for the sake of argument, you start at 11, that means you have only 59 minutes. So please don't do that. You want to start at least 4, 5, 6 hours ahead of time to be on the safe side, because if you started late, you may be nervous, you may not do as well. The meetings, as I mentioned, it's all online via Zoom, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for this class from 9 to 12:50. Uh, Technology calculator formulation. You can use a graphing calculator and tables and formula sheets for the exam. Now, it is important to show a certain amount of work before you let the calculator do the job for you, because all you have to do, make a simple mistake with the calculator, you get everything wrong. But if you show work, then there is a possibility of receiving a partial credit. And even for the calculators, and I mention it again as we go to MOM, everything is free. And I have some resources for you here. I highly recommend you check each and every one of them and see which calculator is easier for you to operate and learn. Okay. If you have a calculator of your own, more power to you. Okay. But like I said, you have many, many resources for free here. Now we have the tech support for the publisher, for Campus, for Canvas. The PowerShop, this is the information about the PowerShop, the website. And if you go to the website, you can get the details as far as their timing and everything else. Grading policy. It's a point system and it has a total of 1,000 points. So it's easy to figure out at the end, as you do your work. Every exam, I put the grade in Canvas immediately. What I can't do is online homework. Online homework, I do it at the end. However, at any given point, you can check my open math and to see what percentage you've done. At the end, 250 points will be put in Canvas. If, of course, 100% is done. Introduction to my open math, 20 points. Algebra review, 30 points. Each exam is 100 points, and the final is 300 points. They add up to 1,000. It's a point system. 90%, that means 900 points. 900 and above is an A. 80%, that means 800 to 899 is a B. 70%, that means 700 to 799 is a C, so on and so forth. If you happen to be a borderline, I may consider it based on quite a few factors. For example, the lowest exam grade before the final may be replaced by the final. If the final score is good meaning minimum 80%, 80% or better. Part B, homework and discussion, but we don't have a discussion board for this summer, are at 90% or higher. And when the action is done, the result will be a higher letter grade. If it's not, it's just there's no reason to do that. Okay. So if you miss any of the exams, of course, the grade for that missed exam is 0 and will not, I emphasize, will not be replaced by the final exam as the lowest grade, regardless, even if you get 100% on the final and on your home. So you can't miss any of the exams. Generally speaking, students who miss any of the exams will be dropped from the course. Course late work policy, I suggest for a fast-paced course like this, don't do that. There's the 10% deduction just for some of the homework, okay? And it's not worth it, okay? Exception to the above, of course, is the mandatory assignment and the algebra review. There are other informations here, cheating, plagiarism, and so on. The next thing that I find it very interesting is what we call CSULB Study 36. Okay. And you can go to the website. Basically, what it says, Students need about 3 times the number of units per hour for a 16-week semester to be successful in the class. That's the synopsis of it. So that's for a 16-week course. However, it's a short-term course. And of course, 4 times 3 is 12, but you need minimum of 20. And that's a minimum amount because this is done in 5 weeks, everybody. Okay. This is done in 5 weeks, and I can't emphasize this enough. Okay. Dropping policy. Basically, if missing the first, meeting slash orientation, you're already here. You don't register with the publisher and immediately miss the first assignment or assignments, miss any of the exams. We have more information about financial aid, DSPS or OSS. That is accommodation that is provided for the students if need be, and the information is here. Please contact them. Financial aid, other resourceful, helpful resources, and so on and so forth. The summary step to succeed is very simple. You want to study the PowerPoints for each module. Now, as far as the PowerPoints are concerned, I have my own PowerPoints. You can find the PowerPoints in MOM and study them. As long as you study something that you are comfortable with and you get the concept, more power to you. Then do your homework. When you do the homework, some of the homeworks, they have videos, and you have some videos before you start the homework in that specific section, and there are videos embedded within the homework. So that is really helpful. Study the practice test and their solution. We have practice test for the sake of getting students ready for the exam, okay? We also have the practice test, the solution practice to the practice test, and recording of the practice test, all of them. Take the exam, of course, by the due date. Needless to say, you can take the exam beforehand. Every exam is password protected. So you receive the password, you can take it anytime after you receive the password. Of course, the office hours has been mentioned. Just follow the information here or on the homepage of Canvas. And we have the what they call an etiquette for online learning. And I don't want to go over the whole thing, but in short, you really want to show that you're professional, you're courteous towards one another, and you are here to learn, and you're here to help if you can help a fellow student. That's really the bottom line. One thing that is important to me, you're a college student, so using correct spelling and grammar is a must. When you send an email, it must have a subject line, and in the subject line, you have to write the course, which course you are registered in, because I don't know unless you tell me. Then when you write your email, make sure it's properly spelled, and the use of grammar as well. Needless to say, we meet on a daily basis. You're more than welcome to ask me any questions. If there is any general question, you can ask anytime. If it's a private question, I set up a breakout room for everyone, and I send anyone who wants to a breakout room so we can discuss any issue privately. All right, so that's the syllabus, everybody. And I want to also show you, this is called simple syllabus. Now, everything that we've gone over with details, the synopsis of that is also here. This gives you the name of the course, section number, meeting time, office hours, say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, my name, course description, the text, grading policy, drop and repeat, and student code of conduct, so on and so forth. Timing as far as the tentative dates for the exams, and more information. So we have all of them. Let's go back to the home page. And next one comes modules. What can you find under modules? Practice test, PowerPoints, so practice test, homework can be found there, practice test solution can be found there, and all of them. So I'm going to go to modules and go over everything that you see here. Before I do that, I want to look at the discussion for him. What can you find there? Number one, student bios. Um, I put mine as an example, and I highly recommend you put yours so your fellow students get to know you. If you read somebody's bio and you want to answer, please make sure you have nothing but word of encouragement. Okay, we want to encourage everybody. So that's one of the discussion forums. The next one is called the frequently asked questions. Before you ask any question, you can check this. This really shouldn't take more than maybe 2 or 3 minutes of your time to read. Okay. For example, how to use the math editor here. Course ID, is there a need for a course ID? There used to be, but there's some sort of a problem here. There is no need. I'll show you how to register. By course ID, I mean course ID for my Open Math. Okay. And so campus tech support is here. Text, no, everything is online, publisher support. Okay. Access expired homework, it tells you 10% penalty. So a lot of questions are answered here. Also, how do I check my grade so far? And again, this is the grade for your homework in essence. You can check it like so. How do I look at an old exam? You just go to the grade book and click on the grade. It brings it up. Where to find the exam password? This is the question that comes up, and I really have no idea why, because not only I have it in this meeting, also in the frequently asked questions. Announcements with the exam title are emailed to students and have all the information, including the exam password. I mean, it can't get any clearer than that. For any reason you missed that, just go to the announcements. Okay. All right. So that was the discussion forum. I want to come back to the homepage, and basically we want to look at modules that covers everything we have there. So when you click on modules, what do you find? Okay. The very first thing is going to my Open Math and how to log into my Open Math. And I'm going to go over my Open Math later on, but here's the idea. Due to a problem with integration of my Open Math with Canvas, please follow instruction below to access my Open Math. So basically, you go to myopenmath.com. It'll ask you for the course ID. Okay, register using the following information. It'll ask you for the course ID. Just copy and paste it. It'll ask you for enrollment key, copy and paste it. It's that simple. We are going to give everybody a chance to do that, those who haven't done. The next one is PowerPoints, lectures section by section. Now, I do have the PowerPoints, and also I have the recordings of those, okay? So this one has all the recordings. So we have the recordings for the practice test, and we have recordings for prior years. We have instruction on taking exams in My Open Math. I highly recommend you watch that before you take the exam. We're going to discuss that by the end of the week anyways. And then the PowerPoints for lectures. This one is a section by section. So let me just click on that. This is a YouTube channel. You can find the lectures from 1.1 all the way to the end. Okay. So I have the PowerPoints And I have the lecture on the PowerPoints. Now, where do we find those PowerPoints? I'll show you in a moment. And this one is the practice test. Module 1, practice test 1, chapter 1, all the way to the last one. So we have the recording for each and every one of them. And again, where is the practice test itself? So going back to the module, I want to show you where to find other things. So first, we have week 1 or module 1 covering chapters 1, 2, 3. Then week 2, modules 4 and 5. Week 3, 6 and 7. Week 4, 8 and 9. Week 5, 10, 11, 12. Although there seems to be 3 chapters at the end, but they are very short. For example, chapter 12 has only 1 section. Okay. I believe 10 and 11, each one has only 2 sections. But before I go, and I'm going to go over one of them, and you'll see the rest of them repeat. What do you find at the end of the module? It's called formulas, TI calculators and tables and so forth. So we have the formulas here. And remember, you can use formulas for the exam because the formulas for stats are pretty involved. Okay, so we have the formulas here. The next one, tables. Now, granted, tables, you can even go online and find the tables, like the z-score, positive, negative. Some people still use tables and some people just use technology. Please understand if you use technology, it's a little bit more precise. That's why sometimes there's a difference between the two. And t-table, chi-square table, F distribution, F table. So we have the tables as well. So going back to the modules, I'm looking at the very last one. So we have statistic formulas, we have the tables, and for TI 83, 84 calculators, I have the commands for you. So first and foremost, I want you to see what I have on this page. I can access this calculator, everybody, which is an emulator. How did I do that? I went online and I downloaded it. I got to be very honest with you. This is not an easy task. Sometimes it doesn't work. So I have all the information that you need here. If you want to bring it to your computer, to your laptop, give it a shot. I hope it works. But I don't know much about it. In some cases, I've had to ask from the campus tech support to help me download this because it is sometimes working and sometimes it's not. So please read this stuff, okay? Try this one by going to this website, download, and so forth. Now, there are tutorials here, okay, as far as the graphing calculator is concerned. So we have the information about TI calculator here. Now we have various commands. For example, how to enter data, how to find descriptive statistics. So calculators can do a lot of work, but understand you need to do a justification as to how you use the calculator, writing formulas, and justifying your steps, understanding what is given to you. Again, I have more commands, and notice Also, there are some online calculators here. So the purpose of that is to make sure at least there is one calculator that works for you and it's free. Again, it's your choice to make it, to figure out which one works the best for you. You have to look at each and every one of them. All right, so again, for example, I mean, just chi-square value calculator. There's a calculator that does only chi-square. And this page also, I believe this is the last page now. Uh, from this page on, I have, again, online calculators. One of the online calculators that is popular and it works decent is called Online Stat Calculator. Okay, you can check this out. Another one is Social Science Statistic Calculator. Again, check them out to see which one works the best for you. So that's as far as the calculators are concerned. So in short, when you go to the modules, the first one is how to get into your digital platform mob. The next one is all the recordings. And the last one are the resources about formula sheets, tables, calculators. So now I want to go back and just look at one of these. So I'm going to look at week one. So what do we get? The very first one, everybody, is a practice test. Why am I giving you the practice test first? Because I want you to spend maybe 3 to 5 minutes to read. You don't have to answer any of those questions. And that gives you the synopsis of what you need for the first exam. It doesn't take more than 3 to 5 minutes, I promise you. After that, you see chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. What are those? Those are the PowerPoints, the lectures per, and it's per section. So in this case, you have 1.1, you have 1.2, you have 1.3. So those are my PowerPoints. You can download them. Now, if you download them and if you put them in slide mode, when you come across a case, it won't be just the entire page, but line by line or paragraph by paragraph, or more importantly, you want to do this example. If it's in slide mode, you don't see the solution. You just see the example. You try to answer it. You click down, you arrow down, it gives you the next line, the population. You arrow down, it gives you the next line, the sample, and so on and so forth. So it will not give you, if you put it in slide mode, it will not give you the solution right away, but rather it starts with the question. That's why you want to start with slide mode. So this is chapter 1. If you go back to modules, then chapter 2 is the same thing, different sections that it covers. In this case, it's 4. Chapter 3, again, the same thing, different sections. In this case, 3 sections. And then after that, after you go through those chapters, you see the solution. So what is this? This is the solution to the practice test. So what do you see? Let me just bring this up again. What do you see under some week? For example, week 1. First, you see the practice test, which is the synopsis of what will be covered. Then you see chapter 1, 2, 3. You see the PowerPoints. So you study the PowerPoints. If need be, you can write formulas, so on and so forth. When you're done with all of those, what do you see at the end of that week for that module? The solution to that with details. So now, what do we have? We have the practice test. We have the PowerPoints to help us understand and answer the practice test. We have the solution to practice test. And right here, recorded lectures, if you click on it, it has the same solutions discussed and recorded. So you have the practice test, you have the solution, you have the PowerPoints to learn it, you have the solution to practice test, and the solution to practice test in the form of a recording is also available. So it can't get better than that. You have all the resources you need to be successful in the course. Now, I want to spend some time going back and explaining how my open math works. And remember, all you have to do, go to myopenmath.com. It'll ask you to register, and you do so accordingly. Okay. So when you register, what happens? It takes you to your course. The very first assignment that you are going to do today is mandatory assignment as an introduction to MyOpenMath. It simply shows you how to work with MyOpenMath. The next one is the algebra review. The amount of algebra that you need to be successful in this course, this sort of gives you a test on that to see how you're doing. And there are videos available. If need be, I'll show you. For now, you don't have to worry about these exams, so I'm going to minimize that. Then we have the course description as it was basically given to you when we went over the philosophy of the class. Then this is important to understand all contents in the course modules folders, which include videos and sets of homework exercises. Some videos are embedded within the homework and some can be found at the beginning of the chapter. So what do we find here? Notice this is a calendar, and the very first assignments that are due are almost red, then it becomes orange, and then as of next week. So you can find all your homework here and you can start from here, or I highly recommend instead of starting from here, let's go to the modules. First, I want to discuss module 0. So let me just minimize all these modules first. Okay. So starting with module 0, as you can see by the name, text, gradebook, calendar, late pass, flowchart. So module 0 is really a bunch of resources, everybody. Okay. So let me actually close this so I can use. The first thing that we come across is the text. And the text is this one. Which is based on this one. Now, the difference is this is properly put together as far as the sections are concerned. Okay. What is the advantage of this one? It is easier to navigate. Okay, everybody. So again, table of contents, view online, download the PDF to go view online. Okay. And again, let me just, see, you can go to a specific section if you want. It's easier to navigate with this one. But the order is slightly different than what you see here. But nevertheless, the book is online and you don't need to pay for anything. All right. How to use a late pass? I really don't recommend it for a short, pace course like this. Okay. To review any of your assignments, instructor resources. Now, these are some of the resources that I have. I put them here. Okay. Tables, formula sheets, uh, and so on. Now, a multi-library and so forth. As we come on down, look at free online calculators. You have so many of them here, class. Which one do you use? Again, I mentioned the TI calculator emulator, if you can make that work. Or please check these uh, online calculators, see which one works for you. Okay, they are uh, different. This is, again, the first one seems to be probably one of the best. Okay, ultimately, it's up to you. Uh, this one or this one, okay, these two. And this one explains how to get. Uh, Again, instructors resources, more videos. So the p-value calculator, that's another one. Okay, sometimes students have a problem with the p-value. We will get to that. You'll see what's the p-value, chi-square, and so on. Another calculator which is popular is Desmos calculator, and where we have a YouTube video for that, introduction to it and how to use that. So external websites, online stat calculator, daily schedules calculator, come on down to all the way down to Khan Academy, linear regression, all of the above. Again, as you can see, this module 0 class, if you look at module 0, is nothing but resources. And if you don't need any of resources, even you don't need to look at the text, you don't even have to uh, maximize or keep it minimized. The course starts with module. So what you find here, again, let me uh, minimize this. Under module 1, you see chapters 1, 2, 3. So you're going to look at chapter 1. You're going to go to 1.1. And what do you find here? First, watch these video lectures, then do the homework assignments. In the past, there have been, and again, if there's a broken link, please let me know. Some students go over those, and that's good enough for them to actually get started with the homework. If you watch those and those are good enough, so be it. If not, those are my video lectures, okay? Or other professors, more video lectures. You do that, then you're ready to do your homework. Take a look at this one. If you click on the homework, the only thing I want to show you is that, so you're doing a question and you have no idea what to do. Okay, notice there is a video help here. Video help here. Next one, I have no idea how to do this. There's a video embedded with that. And then the next one doesn't have a video. Probably by now you know what to do. Okay. So the point being, when you do the homework, if you need help, help is available. Now, so I want to go back and I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to actually show you uh, how you do your assignment. So for example, here, you want to enter the answer and you want to check your work. It says, and the moment I click on this rectangle, what happens? A math editor opens up, okay? So if in case I need to use a square root or a fraction bar and so forth, in this case, I just want to put this number in 58.6954. Okay. Now, I got to submit the question. This one, rounded to the nearest hundreds. Nearest hundreds is 9. Okay. So 58 point. I want to put 6 9. Next to 9 is 5. It goes up, becomes 10. So 7, 0. And this one says divide by 0. We can't divide by 0. And it has DNE, stands for does not exist. And so you submit the question and you see the check mark means okay, we did fine. But for this one, it says convert the number to a decimal and enter 4 or more decimals. You want to pay attention to this. So I don't know if you know that, but 1/3 is 0.3 bar, which means 0.3, and it continues indefinitely. Let's just put 1 decimal, just for the sake of our argument, which is wrong. Okay. Submit question. So here's what it says. It's just wrong. Okay. So what do? Do you move on? No. I'm going to get a similar question. It happened to give me the same. And now I'm going to put 0. I'm going to put bunch of threes, many, just to be on the safe side. I submit the question and now it check marks. So my point being, if I make a mistake, not a big deal. I get a similar question and I do that. So that's why with the homework, it's easy to get 100%. Now, something comes up, I can't continue, I'm going to put done. And so what happens is that the first two that I have done, I have received the points, okay, and it is registered for me. But what about the rest of it? As long as I come back before the due date, I can resume. So I can resume or I can exit. Of course, at this point, I'm going to exit. But again, like I said, you come back, you start from question number 3, and you move on. And that's the beauty of homework in my open math. You can pick up a new question and get the full credit in that matter. What I want to add here, let me just go back. And I want to give you the synopsis of what we did. So when you go to the homepage of Canvas, there is a welcoming message, philosophy of the course, announcements. We went over the syllabus. Just about every piece of information is there. And modules is basically what it covers everything for us. After that, what you see here is the office hours, everybody. But if I want to attend the class, I have to go to this Zoom meeting and join. So what do we find under the modules? Number 1, how do I register with my open math is here. Number 2, all the recorded materials such as the lectures and practice tests. At the very end, more resources, which is formulas, tables, information about TI calculator. But the work is here where it says week 1. And as I mentioned, if you want to do well, make sure you look at the practice test, PowerPoints, solution to the practice test, and we will go over the practice solution to practice test also, and its recording is available there. Now, when you go to my open math, first you see the introductory assignment, then you see the algebra review. Again, algebra review, the purpose of that is to make sure you have enough knowledge of algebra to move on. And if you find any of the questions difficult, that's the area that you want to go back and look at. Here's the calendar. Module 0 is nothing but a bunch of resources. We have a lot of resources there. And module 1 is the start of the course. You start with chapter 1, section 1.1. You can watch the videos if you feel confident, and that's enough. Start with your homework. And that's all you have to do. Well, happy studying, and I wish you all best of luck. Let me So I'm gonna have a discussion in a moment, but good luck everybody with your course.